We are the Juice Box. I'm Tana.
And I'm Jarrett.
Yeah. So we've had a couple of videos up to this point that have been fun and exciting and helpful with recipes and our health journeys in terms of physical health and a bunch of stuff. But we started this YouTube channel talking about mental health. Our very first episode, we talked about mental health, physical health, and a little bit of spiritual health as well. Today we want to focus specifically on mental health because it's really important to both of us individually and as a couple. So we're coming to you with a little inside scoop and insights to our own personal journeys as it pertains to mental health. And before we get into it and specifically talk about Jarrett's journey, I want to shout out to my parents who have their own mental health company called My Polar Life. So if you're interested in art and using art as a medium to address mental health and mental illness, definitely check them out. The website you'll see, but they're a great group if you're looking for different ways that are artistic to handle the kinds of feelings that you're experiencing. So shout out to them for the great work that they're doing, and they're also a startup company, so want to support where we can. So to start,
Let's get down
I'm
to
gonna pass the mic to you. I know about your journey, and we've talked about this quite a bit, especially when we started dating. It was definitely something that our dog has just visited in the middle of the video. He knows he's not supposed to be on the couch.
Get down, see.
You gotta get down. Yeah, so this is something that we talked about when we first started dating, and it kind of brought us closer together. But let's share with everyone who watches us and supports us how you came to handle your own mental health journey.
Sure. So I think our mental health journey has definitely birthed our business and what the reason why we do what we do with our juice box and our CBD juices. But to go back to the beginning, the journey is, I guess, started at birth. But as I grew older, high school and college, started noticing, like most of us, dealing with issues of depression and anxiety. And I know that's a common affliction or common issue with a lot of us right now, dealing with the anxiety of whether it's COVID or just the anxiety of day-to-day life. And I was struggling dealing with it, and this was a battle, a journey, something at one point, I think during college and a little bit after college, I didn't think I could really gain a hold over it. And so going through that journey, going through the different ups and downs of whether it's panic attacks or just deep depression, not really wanting to get out and move around, and like literally not wanting to get out of the bed. You go through different things and try different things to cope, and it got to a point where I think I was coping but not really seeing relief.
Had you at this point already gone to see somebody about this, or not yet?
Yes. So I wasn't sure what it was in high school, but as I got in college and through my college years, being diagnosed as manic depressive, that did start and opening the door to getting some treatment. So whether it was medication or being able to talk to someone, that was what was my treatment at that point, and the relief that I had, and trying to cope and trying to understand what was going on with my moods, with my well-being and what have you. And so from there, the normal response, I think, is to start medication. And medication was kind of a hit and miss. I think with a lot of people that do try medication, it's a trial and error. You find different things that help in that moment, but also may have side effects. And so the side effects that I was having were a bit much for me to continue. And so I wasn't willing to continue with the treatment, continue with the, again, our dog down here, to continue with the medication. So I think from there, because the side effects were so extreme, I started to try to learn other things and natural means to help myself deal with the day-to-day life and the ups and downs that I was going through. And so that journey, no different than trying to figure out what medications work. That journey was trial and error. It was ups and downs. It was relearning myself, trying to break myself from different traditions or different habits that I had leading up to that time in my life, to where it brought me, I guess, to where I am today. And what I think a lot of the reading that I did and research that I did was based around our diet. That was one thing that was talked about more and more, and talked about in so many different places, to the point where I was tiptoeing into this vegan space. But finally, there was a bit of a breaking point, I think, where it was, I've got to find some relief. And so
did you find relief soon after changing your diet, or was it like a progression as you become solidly vegan? Like you're maybe 6 months to a year into a vegan solid diet, were you starting to see differences?
So I think the differences I saw, or when I didn't really see differences, was the entire life change. So it wasn't just my diet that changed, it was my sleep, it was exercise, it was trying to find a normal schedule to get on instead of the hectic schedule I was on, especially at the time in my later 20s, working either at grocery stores or restaurants, and just the ups and downs of those schedules, coaching as well. And so it was trying to find a schedule that I can get to where it was the similar routines every day, improving my diet, being conscious about my sleep patterns.
So it was a combination of all of those things together.
Definitely. It was a combination of all of that. Meditation and yoga, all these different things that was part of the life change, opposed to trying to find that one pill or that one quick fix, or just that one element that would help me, I think, feel better and be able to cope with what the things that were going on in my mind and my body.
He's being rude. Because we're not, like, literally every time we record a video, he's there trying to get our attention. I don't know what it is, and I'm sorry that he's interrupting. So, going back, so a combination of things: diet, exercise, sleep. So all of these things together, meditation, yoga, helped you find a place to find natural ways to deal with your diagnosis.
Sure.
So you didn't have to use medication.
Yeah, I definitely shied away from, or wanted to find other ways to heal myself, or, like I said, to cope, that wasn't medication. Along with the diet and the meditation and yoga, that kind of worked myself, I think, naturally into the space of CBD. And so that was one of the natural remedies that I thought that was very helpful, in conjunction with all those other things that gave me some calm, did relax me, and from what I've come to understand of CBD and the effects of it, the benefits of it, was able to work at those imbalances within my body and my mind and my head. So I think that collection of things has been, my elixir, I think, of what would help, and has gotten me to this point.
So, yeah, I think that's really great to know, and I think we need to make it clear that if you are taking medication, it's not that we're saying you shouldn't. And we know that there are people who actually need medication to have balances. So Jarrett's journey is different from my journey, which is different from the next person's journey. So you have to do what's best for you. And this just so happened to work for him. And I'm thankful that he was so open to share all of that with me when we first met. Well, not when we first met, but soon into,
it was pretty early
after
on.
we met, he kind of divulged all of this to me, and I was appreciative of it. And understanding my own experience with mental health and my family's experience, we as a family valued attention to mental health and mental illness because of all of our experiences as a family. And it was really important to me to be with someone who also valued that attention to taking care of our mental wellness. And I think physical health is just as important as mental health. And I think sometimes we separate the two to the point that we're doing more damage than good if we're just like, well, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm eating right and going to the gym, which may in turn help your mental wellness. But if you're ignoring the fact that you're feeling anxious or you're feeling depressed or whatever the case may be, you shouldn't ignore it. And I think seeking medical attention is always a benefit, right? Like at least finding out the diagnosis or finding out what it might mean that you're feeling anxious or depressed, or that you might be bipolar or you might be manic. I think it's really important to have a starting point. This is something that we learned as a family, is just like, if you know where you are, you know what you can do to get to a better place. So yeah, I appreciate all of that. And I definitely see a difference in him when he is more active. Like when he's riding his bike to work or walking to work even sometimes, like I can see the difference, and he sleeps better, and his, just overall aura and energy is completely different when he's more active. So I know that for sure exercise is something that he needs in his life on a regular basis as a person who is outside witnessing what's happening with him. So
no. Yeah. So I've worked through my own journey, but I know, and what Tana said here a second ago, we're all on our own path. We're dealing with different experiences, but I want to make sure that, especially in the Black and Brown community, that we are being more open and willing to express what's really going on with us. We are dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of pressure, a lot of past hurt, and I just don't want, whether it's people our age, people younger, people older, whoever it may be, don't feel like you're alone in this, right? Yeah. Like we all are dealing with something, and not feeling alone in this, I think, made me more able to seek some kind of help, right? Whether it was counseling, whether it was even initially with the medication, or what I've kind of worked through of late, of the last few years. But that's kind of where we are now in society. Like we can't hide this fact about us, and the more we are able to share about our experiences, the more help there is for us, the more, and similar to my polar life, there's people and organizations out there who, may not be doctors, but they also have that experience of what you're going through, and can walk with you throughout this time and help us all kind of cope, and not even just cope, but actually help us feel better and be better. So yeah, that's kind of been my walk.
That's awesome. I feel like there are so many resources to all of us, and some of them are free and some of them are not free. We know how that goes with insurance and not being able to afford certain health care for ourselves. But the thing is, if we're having the conversation and we're having dialogue about it, you are going to get to a place where you can find a solution that works for you. And I don't think we can emphasize it enough. Just being able to know that you're not in this by yourself. Again, going back to our relationship, I was very appreciative that he was willing to be so open. And I think that brought us closer together, but also helped us understand how we want to move forward as a family and as people who want to be parents in the future. This is something that we have to keep in mind, to be able to raise children who are well aware that it's okay to address mental illness, that it's okay to pay attention to your mental wellness and to try to do things, to be proactive, to, you know, make sure that you're staying on top of your feelings and understanding what's happening within you, in your mind, in your spirit, in your gut, and also to be active in responding to those feelings when they come up. So as future parents, I think it's important for both of us to be on the same page about addressing those things and being vocal about it and not making it a stigma. And I think that's what has been a detriment, especially to the Black and brown community, is that we don't talk about this stuff because it's been stigmatized. Our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents have told us to, like, you know, get your act together, don't cry, to move on, to move forward. And sometimes you just can't do that. And it's important for us, new generations, younger generations, to change that message, to change that narrative, and to say it's okay to feel the feelings that you're feeling, and let's get to the root of why maybe you're feeling this way for too long. You know, like maybe you're feeling really down for too long, and that is a sign that we need to probably seek some help elsewhere. So I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
I don't know. I think more than anything is something I want to make sure that we get across, that this is, if you're dealing with this or dealing with some kind of mental issues, like, that's who you are.
Yes.
Let's not run from that. But in accepting that fact, there's help for you. You know, and even if it's just talking and getting some of that off your chest, you know, that definitely helps, and it kind of moves you forward. And so that's what we're trying to do, I think, with this channel, is continue to move our people forward, move this generation, move humanity forward, even by being healthier people. So physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you know, let's keep moving.
I think to clarify my fiance's point, now that we're a unit, I think what you're trying to say, and I'm not trying to like impose my words on yours, not necessarily that's who you are, but that is a part of you.
It's a part of you.
And it's important that you recognize that part of you. And there are different parts that make you whole, but this just happens to be something that can make you stronger, or it can be a real struggle. And what we're trying to say and what we're trying to do is create a conversation so that it doesn't become a struggle, so that you can take that part of you and make it a strength. Right? So, yeah.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed us opening up to you a bit, especially Jarrett. He shared a lot. And if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you feel comfortable sharing and you want the world to know through the platform or in the comments below, feel free to share. We're always open to having a dialogue with the folks who comment. So that's really it. Thank you for watching. We love y'all. We thank y'all. We look forward to seeing you next time.